All right, bear with me. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but I need to talk this out because I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I'm gonna try and make it as cohesive as possible because I feel like it's all over the place in my brain. But let's try this out. I've opened up on this channel before about how the greatest frustration I have with myself is my apparent inability to solely focus on one hobby long enough to master it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can relate, but I'm good at a lot of things because of that. I'm great at a few, and then I'm a master of nothing. I guess the only thing that I could even potentially be considered a loose master in is making videos good enough to make a living online. And that is solely through your support and through sponsors like Skillshare, who's sponsoring this video. I think that this frustration started to really fester within me after college. If you relate to this, in your mid-20s to late 20s, you start to have this list in your mind of all of these things that you could have done for years, even just casually for years. And then you think, I could have been not only a master, but a prodigy at this point. And so that leads to just this overall feeling of immense frustration when you start a new interest or hobby, even if you're good at it, you know what I mean? Just thinking, why did I not keep doing this? Why did I not start earlier? I can't make any money from this now when I have to keep up with all these bills and everything already. How, like, what's the point? How could I possibly ever catch up to make it worth my time? How? So that kind of leads to this mindset of apathy, I guess. What's the point? Is that the right word? So I've got that going on in my mind, but also I'm surrounded, and it's probably because I'm on YouTube, but I'm surrounded by this culture of hustle. Just hustle all the time. Make as much money as you can doing one thing and one thing only, and just get so ridiculously good at it that you just make this income that it's just rolling in all the time. That is compelling, but it also sounds miserable. And I'm like, okay, so there's got to be a middle ground here somewhere. I know it's stupid for me to be disappointed in myself constantly about these hobbies that I should have kept doing. But it's also stupid in my mind to just knock yourself out 24/7 doing one thing nonstop and apparently never sleeping. Yet it always turns out that they make these videos about how they're wasting time on their phone and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have fun doing hobbies without that constant pressure and disappointment of having not hustled for my whole life to be able to make a living doing that. Does that make sense? Recently, I've been interested in drawing, and this is not something new. I've been interested in this since I was probably like 7 to 9. Man, it was like my mind. It was like my brain. It almost like defined me. Drawing was my first love. It was my first interest, and I wasn't amazing at it. I didn't even practice very often, but to me it was like, I am an artist. I am a drawer. You know how kids just like grab onto stuff and make it them? That was my thing. I remember when I was very young going to the library with my mom all the time and always going down the art aisle, the art section, and just sitting there and finding all the new books, pulling them out, and just being just so blown away and amazed at what potential was there. But over time, it just went away, and it wasn't something that I ever pursued. But recently, that all came flooding back into my mind when I was browsing Skillshare and came across their Start Drawing Techniques for Pencil Portraits course. It's by Gabrielle Bricky, and she did such a great job at explaining, for true beginners what it is that you even need to buy, because there's a lot of different things, and I'm new to this. I didn't really know, so I just followed along and got what she told me to get. She also moves into a lot of advanced stuff, and that's where it really started to get fun. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people. It's really easy to explore new skills and develop existing interests with Skillshare. If you've never been on Skillshare, it is so easy to explore new skills, develop existing interests, and just get lost in creativity. If you're like me and you're uncertain about like what hobby you really want to hone in on, Skillshare is literally the perfect place, because at just a few clicks you can see, I don't know if I'm so interested in that. Oh no, this looks really interesting. The first 1,000 people to click the link down in my description are going to receive a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. And after that, it's only about 10 bucks a month. It is a great deal. So when I clicked the link and I started to learn to draw, I realized that I was never happy with what I was doing. Shouldn't I be doing something else that I could be, providing or potentially making money? Or I could have been doing this since I was 9 years old and I didn't. And now it's 20 years later and I'm just now starting. Like, what is wrong with me? But then all at once, it hit me. Learning for learning's sake is actually critically important for a human's existence. We're so trained now that if there's any empty space, you pick up your phone and you just play on it for... Some people told me that they spend like 8 hours a day on their phone. That's okay if that's you, but stop. If I am so willing to give up my life and my valuable time to this device, why do I think that just learning is a waste of time? Like, how programmed am I to spend time on this? And then I started to think, like, maybe random hobbies that go nowhere are actually the most valuable thing that you can pursue to understand your life and other people's lives and whatever your calling is, you know what I mean? Whatever your job is. Maybe these hobbies, dabbled in here, delve in there, all kind of somehow interconnect in a way that make you and make you more, I don't want to say more valuable, but more ready for that singular thing that you are going to do, whatever that is. Because I realized when I was... Let me just get my drawing. I realized when I was drawing this, I was drawing it for my sister as a present. I realized that it was making me see the world in a different way. Like seeing shapes and forms and shades, and directly impacted my daily life and how I just see the world, was just drawing this picture of her cat. And that really amazed me. I actually made this frame too, by the way. That's when it really started to click for me, was just how direct and almost instantaneous that brain shift was in seeing the outside world, that I started to kind of piece all of those hobbies that I've done in my life, like animation, writing, drawing. I mean, the list can go on and on. Like, maybe all of those are unimportant in some way, but also the most important in some ways. We always encourage children to learn and to have that environment of just learn what you want. It is important for your brain to grow. Go into what you want to go into. But after college, and once we start to get into our job and get into what we think is defining us, I mean, that just goes out the window. Like 100%, it's gone. And it's sad. It's really sad that just goes away just like that after college. It's just gone. But maybe we're missing a big part of what makes us human. Just drawing a random picture of your sister's cat to make her smile. Learning for learning's sake, without having the intention of ever doing anything profound or making money from it. maybe learning for learning's sake is the goal. And honestly, that sounds great to me. That takes the pressure off. Thanks for letting me just think through all that. I don't know if I was super coherent, but hey, I actually feel like I've clarified my thoughts on that subject. So thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week. Learn for learning's sake, okay? Bye.